Coming up in today's episode.
We went to something we have never done before, which is a fish massage.
We just
Send help. The temple experience this time was so shocking and gripping because these temples no longer are active, but you really get a sense of the sereneness, the sacredness, and the holiness of the temple.
We're Quentin and Vianney, two guys trying to visit 40 countries before we turn 40.
We're taking the world on by trying to explore different countries, cultures, food, and by being as adventurous as possible.
We decided to film all of this for our future selves to look back on for one day when we are older. So let's go on a Kiwi travel adventure.
Hi future Quentin!
And hi future Vianney.
And to all our friends and family watching, and today we are taking you to one of our bucket list countries, Cambodia!
First, we arrived back at Bangkok airport, and which was the Don Muang airport, and we took a flight with Air Asia. It was a very, very quick flight. On the plane, boarded, and we received the forms to fill out for our visas. As soon as we were done with that, we basically landed in Cambodia. Thereafter, we landed at immigration and went off to our hotel. Right after this, we took a 10-minute walk to the city center of Siem Reap, and we started scouting for number one, shirts, because the next day for our beautiful temple day, we wanted to make sure that we have our shirts on for that occasion.
From there on, we just explore some of these sites, and then we look for a place to have dinner, of which we decided to go for traditional street food, which we are so happy that we did. So the first thing we had was obviously just a quick Nutella pancake, or the Cambodian version thereof. And then we settled at the family restaurant or stall with these tiny chairs and tables literally on the side of the street. And then we had some smoothies from the lady which was just next door to them. And then first off we had some spring rolls, and then we had deep fried mushrooms, the forest mushrooms, which was absolutely awesome. And then we had like a beef stir-fried pork, which is a lok lak that they called, which is also a traditional Cambodian food, as well as the local chicken curry, which is called amok. And then, which was quite interesting to see, is that these food stalls, all of them were basically a scooter that was attached to the food station, which was directly next to it, and it was all powered by a generator. So this was super cool, but yes, we were absolutely surprised with the food. It was truly amazing, and we couldn't wait to go back the next day. After dinner, we then took a walk up the street to go to the famous Pub Street, which is almost like the Patong Road that you get in Phuket, which was quite interesting. And then we just had to go for a quick massage, which was well needed, and it was a very strange Cambodian type of massage. But then we quickly went to the 7-Eleven to get some snacks for the next day to tick off a bucket list item.
Good morning. It is a new day in the workroom, and we are on our way finally to Angkor Wat. We are just walking through everything. We have our tickets checked, and we are very excited. We just
Send help. Now this is the main temple of the entire temple reserve. We walked around the temple, and now before we get into the temple, the history of the temple is it was Buddhist, then the Hindus came along and made it a Hindu temple. Then the Buddhists took over and they made it a Buddhist temple, and then the Hindus took over again, and then the Buddhists finally took over again. And this detail is everywhere in this temple. Now, as we arrive, the very first thing that you see is it in the distance, like a skyline. So it was so incredible. The closer you got to it, we saw the beautiful saffron figures just modeling all over the temple. So it was so wonderful seeing the monks there at this old temple. It was very, very beautiful, and it was so majestic, and it was just absolutely breathtaking to take in. While moving all around it on the outside, we got a glimpse of it in the reflection of the water just outside of it, and it was just again so beautiful. It is incredible to think that this temple is still standing after all these years. We went in. As we entered, it was kind of disappointing to see that it's not as kept as one would want these national monuments to be. There was not a lot of people there at all because we just arrived after the rush, which was wonderful, so we enjoyed most of the temple. We had it to ourselves. It was extremely hot, so hot that it was foggy, and the camera and our glasses kept on fogging up, so that was just ridiculous to think it was that foggy. Now, the most wonderful part of this temple was the experience was like you were part of an Indiana Jones movie, and you're just busy exploring these ancient temples and ruins.
So yes, that was absolutely awesome going to Angkor Wat. It's one of the things I've always wanted to go to since I learned about it in school, as it is one of the ancient wonders of the world, and obviously the biggest religious complex in the world, which was truly awesome to see. But then from there on, we had some more stops during the day. First off, we went by the Western Gate as we drove to the next temple, which was truly beautiful to see with all of these faces, and it gave us a little glimpse of our next temple, which was the Bayon Temple. Now, the Bayon Temple is basically iconic for all the many faces. There's about 54 faces, if I remember correctly, that are basically lined throughout. So this is also another temple that is there. But what makes this one so unique is, apart from all the detail with all of the faces and so on, is it literally felt like you were inside a video game, like a Minecraft video game. It truly felt that way as you are walking through it and so on. But it was truly so beautiful to see. It was super hot, make no mistake. And then the one thing that chased us away, just like the same thing that chased us away in Uluwatu when we were in Bali, were the bloody monkeys. The monkeys are freaking everywhere here, and we sort of started hopping away from them, but yeah, they started wreaking havoc, so we just left. But I think we saw what we wanted to see at the Bayon Temple. Then from there on, we drove to our next one, which is also extremely famous, and it is the Ta Prohm Temple. Now, the Ta Prohm Temple is actually more well known in recent years as the Tomb Raider Temple, because this is where the Tomb Raider film was shot with Angelina Jolie. Now, to be honest, it truly felt like you were on a movie set while you were here. It's so spectacular. It just makes absolute sense why they actually filmed the movie there. It is truly so beautiful. It's a lot bigger than we thought it would be. I think we spent about 2 hours and we just left because we had to, because of our driver that we had. But it was truly, the 2 hours that we spent there was so majestic and beautiful. I think what struck us the most is the way in which nature literally took over this temple. So there was an earthquake. That's what happened. They had everything built, and then there was an earthquake, and then they just didn't put everything back together way back in the day, and then everything basically started growing over this. Now, this must have took very long, literally years and years, hundreds and hundreds of years for these trees to be able, because it's not only the one tree. There's, I almost want to say, I would say close to 50 trees or so that is literally taken over. Nature has just completely taken over, but it made it so serene actually. And you hear the birds chirping, and which was awesome again, as most of the tourists already left. So there weren't a lot of people, and it was the perfect opportunity for myself and Biane just to take photos the whole time. Whenever we would see anything, we would just want to stop and say, oh, this is a photo moment, we have to stop here.
This is my video shot.
It was truly just so beautiful there. So that was truly one of the highlights of the day, most definitely. And which was also nice is because it's so overgrown and it's surrounded by a forest, it was a lot cooler at this temple than, for example, the Bayon Temple, which was just straight up in the sun.
And after our incredible temple exploration, we went back to Siem Reap, and just to explore more of the city center, the first thing we checked out was the French influenced buildings, which were just amazing. It was beautiful. It is just so captivating to see that and very picturesque. After all of our souvenir shopping, we went for our dinner, which was at the same place that we were the previous night, and again we explored the traditional Cambodian food.
So after dinner we went to something we have never done before, which is something I've always wanted to do, which is a fish massage.
There we go! Fish foot massage! So we are trying the local beer in every country, like always. This is the Angkor. We have not tried it yet, but this time we are trying it in a completely different setting with fish. That's the deal. You get a beer and the foot massage. That's very nice. So let's try the beer. Tastes just like any other beer in any other country.
So we were actually supposed to be there for an hour, but we just couldn't. It's a very interesting experience, but we decided to rather go for a real foot massage, which belonged to the same place, which this one was truly incredible. It was absolutely awesome throughout our entire trip, in fact, to just have a foot massage first before ending off the day, especially because you walk around so much. It really helped our feet. So that was very, very, very nice. And then we just headed back to our accommodation, and the next morning we went back to the airport to go back to Bangkok. So in conclusion,
the temple experience this time was so shocking and gripping because these temples no longer are active, but you really get a sense of the sereneness, the sacredness, and the holiness of the temples, and it was just so incredible to still experience that while there. So yes, every temple experience is unique, is beautiful, but this one was just seeped deeper than any other temple experience. So that was the main beautiful thing, and that coupled with the people and the specific restaurant and dining experience we had, the people there, it is just so profound and beautiful to see people being so attached to who they are and the beauty of being human. So until next time, which will be in Istanbul! Next time on Kiwi Travel Adventures.
We are starting with our food tour.
And we are starting with the famous fish sandwich.
Not for me, it's very fishy.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
This is amazing. The chicken, the chops. They're the one thing that's really, really showing up the whole time, which is so cool, is the mosques are everywhere. But let's just turn, then you'll see another mosque, and with another mosque. So it's literally everywhere. It's so beautiful.